Trump is the symptom, the system is the disease. What do you think about that statement?
What is he advocating for?
He's saying systematic racism.
Systematic racism?
Or systemic.
Systemic racism, okay. Listen, man, I'm a first-generation American. My parents immigrated to this country from West Africa, from Ghana, right? They came to this country with practically nothing that they had, right? They busted their faces, worked really hard, brought 14 of my relatives from Ghana to the United States legally, who also were in poverty, by the way, but they worked hard to come and give our family an American dream. I turned 19 in boot camp. I decided to join United States Air Force, where I served at RAF Mildenhall as an aerospace ground equipment journeyman. Fought in the military, came back home, and I see people like this sheep promoting communism and Marxism and a bunch of things he doesn't even know, trying to upend capitalism, upend our way of life to replace it with a system he doesn't know. Communism and Marxism has been tried hundreds of times. It's never been successful. It's never worked. And I'm sick and tired of seeing people like this coming out here believing that the African-American communities, we're just a bunch of monoliths. We're going to believe all one thing. If you're black, you got to be a Democrat. If you're black, you got to be with Biden. If you're black, you got to be with Obama. You try and choose anything else, you're a racist, you're a bigot, because what he doesn't know is that the Republican Party was founded by several hundred African-Americans. I bet he doesn't know that. I bet he doesn't know that the first 28 congresspeople in the United States that were African-American congresspeople were Republican. And I'm talking from the 1800s up until the late 1800s. All of them African-American. The first senators, 1800s. First 28, Republicans. The first African-American congresswoman wasn't until 1963. The first African-American senator was not until 1993. I was alive when the first African-American senator was put into power. This guy does not know that. Yet you see all these African-Americans, thousands of them. But we're a monolith. We're a monolith. We're on the wrong side of history. This guy supports the party that created the KKK. He supports the party that created redlining. He supports the party that created the Trail of Tears, where they marched all the Native Americans into the Western plantations. This is the guy who supports the Jim Crow, who supports the segregation. Yeah, we're the ones on the wrong side of history because we're not taking the handouts from the Democrat Party. The Republican Party's not here to hand out anything. We're here for opportunity. We're here to pick people up. And I'm sick and tired of the people, especially in my generation, perpetuating a history that they don't even understand, pushing for things that are going to destroy our country.
What's your message to anyone going into 2020 who's maybe not the most political, not paying that much attention?
It's time to wake up, because I know it's been an excuse that I don't like politics, but this year, this election, it's going to determine our country. Like, our way of life is at stake now, so we can't just be, by the wayside and not focusing. We need to really focus in and really learn some things really quick, because we have to save our country, because if we don't want to be in breadlines. We don't want socialism. We don't want communism. We want to keep our way of life. So wake up.
Do research from the other side. Have an open mind, an open heart, and it'll lead you to the truth. You can see both. You can compare and contrast the information from both sides. One thing I noticed is when people debate, Biden supporters or BLM or anything, the information starts. Once you get to the truth, they start canceling you out. They instantly call you racist. I have people call me racist as a Latino. I'm like, what? I'm definitely not a racist. So then I just realized that they don't have an argument. It's a good way to throw smoke and then run away.
They claim to be, so diverse and supportive of women and blacks, but if it doesn't fit their narrative, then they expose their racism, and they completely shut you off and don't even give you a voice. They are actually telling people like us that we're a pawn. That's literally saying that I can't think for myself. So because I'm not on your side, I can't think for myself. I'm a pawn.
In reality, like you said, it's the opposite.
In reality, it's the opposite. So my message to these celebrities that are incessant on keeping us down, people they're gonna have to be called out by names now. People like Don Lemon, like Whoopi Goldberg, like Sonny Hostin, people like LeBron James, D.L. Hughley, Dwayne Johnson, Kim Whitley, Ava DuVernay. These are extremely dangerous people, and they need to stay out of politics if they're going to tell people who to vote for. They're actually telling people to vote blue all the way down. And that's the most dangerous thing you can tell a voter. They're not telling people to research, do your own research, come up with your own data, vote for your interests. They're just telling you, listen to me and vote blue.
Vote blue no matter who.
They should shut up.
All right, another Fleckus Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. ShopFleckus.com for the best merch in the game. We'll see you at the next one. Perfect.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good seeing you too. Good seeing you again.
I want to ask real quick, how did you get Jerry Nadler?
I saw him on the side of the road.
That's so funny.
That was such a
that was
perfect moment.
Oh, dude.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do a quick picture.
That's why I decided in January this year to run for Congress. And I've been running one hell of a race in New Jersey, NJCD9, up against a 23-year incumbent from Paterson, New Jersey. Lived there 30 years of my life. Lived in the 4th Ward. Yet this guy comes here, he lives in our city, claims to live in the city, or at least it's on paper he lives in the city. He comes into the inner cities just to get the votes, and then he turns his back on us once he's got an election. Hands out a couple of turkeys, and then he's gone. He doesn't speak for the people. He doesn't come out. He doesn't even want to talk. I won't even mention his name. Let's just call him Basement Bill, because that's what he is. He wants to hide in the basement. He comes out, he talks about he's for the Green New Deal. He doesn't realize how the Green New Deal will absolutely destroy inner cities like mine. He doesn't understand how advocating for something like Black Lives Matter, how they're inadvertently pushing for Marxism and communism within the inner cities. He doesn't realize this. Everybody that's watching this, I recommend you guys check out a book called Color, Communism, and Common Sense by John Manning, by Manning Johnson, I should say. This book was written by an African American who was very as deep in the communist movement in the United States. He worked in the communist movement for many years until the late 50s, and he realized that the communist movement is subverting the Black Power movements and the African American movements to push communism and Marxism within the United States. Read this book, and you check this out, look into it, and do your research. It's the same thing that Black Lives Matter is doing right now. Why is it that Black Lives Matter had to go and take down the page who we are? Because on that page, they talk about how they want to take down the patriarchal nuclear family. Basically, they're pro-single family. The biggest problem we have in the inner cities, the biggest problem we have in the African-American community is the single-parent households, right? Statistically, it is a fact. Your child is less likely to go to jail, less likely to do drugs, and more likely to do well in school if they're raised in a two-parent household. Yeah, we have a welfare system that's been perpetuated by the Democrat Party, where if you have a father in the household, you cannot get the benefits. You make X amount of dollars above that threshold, they rip the blanket from right underneath you. They hand out breadcrumbs, and they tell you that we're for you. When they ask, what does the Republican Party do for you, Bill? Why are you a Republican? The Republican Party does absolutely nothing for me. What the Republican Party does is they provide opportunity, lower taxes, lower regulation. They're for our freedoms, they're for our rights. They're here to protect us. All the government is here to do is to protect our rights, not hand us things. That's what the Democrat Party has done, and they know that nobody's going to bite the hand that feeds them. So when they see all of us breaking the mold and doing what we want to do and believing what we want to believe, and people like me step into the ring, people like Basement Bill run away because he doesn't have a leg to stand on. He'll come out and he'll say Black Lives Matter. I'm here for the black people. Yet he won't debate the only black candidate that's running up against him. And he knows that I'm smoking him. I'm making waves in the city. I'm making waves in the district. He's not. He refuses to talk about me because all of his talking points are emotion-based. For 23 years, this 83-year-old gentleman sat here running the inner cities like a mob boss and did absolutely nothing for us. He believes that because he has a D next to his name, we're going to vote for him. And the people are sick and tired of it. You ask the average person in the inner city, you ask the average person in the 9th district, what has Bill Pascal done for you? They'll tell you, he showed up to my kid's graduation. He was at my daughter's, bat mitzvah. He showed up over here at my kid's baseball game. He's a nice guy. What are his policies? What has he actually done? They can't tell you. And that's what a lot of these young sheep out here are talking about. And I'm here to change the narrative. I'm here to tell the truth and spread the truth. Because that's one thing that America needs now more than ever, is the truth. We got a lot of fake news media that's pushing out propaganda. They're telling you opinion. They're not telling you facts. Because what America needs right now is facts. And I'm here to deliver that. Billy Prempeh, vote for me if you live in NJCD9, Billy2020NJ.com, some guy named Bill on Instagram.
Some guy named Bill on Instagram.
I love you,
Thank
man.
you, Bill. That was awesome.
Thank you,
that
brother.
was amazing.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Got to rant sometimes, but
No,
I got
it was
a little
great.